The muscle car era of the 1960s and 70s was a time of high-performance cars and intense competition between American automakers. It began with the introduction of the Pontiac GTO in 1964 and continued until the early 1970s. Now, one of Chev's most iconic muscle cars was the Chevrolet Chevelle, which was introduced in 1964 and went on to become one of Chevy's most successful models. The Chevelle was available in a range of models and configurations, including the high-performance SS, which was powered by a big block V8 engine. Unleashed on the streets during what many consider the golden age of American muscle cars, the 1970 Chevelle SS 454 was one of the fiercest predators on the road, built to compete with Chrysler's HEMI-powered Mopars. The Chevelle SS 454 was Chevrolet's answer to the horsepower wars that had gripped Detroit in the late 1960s. In those days, every American automaker was racing to produce the most powerful muscle car possible. Chrysler had a leg up on the competition with its legendary 426 HEMI engine, which powered some of the fastest cars of the time. But Chevrolet was determined to dethrone the HEMI as the king of the road. For years, Chevrolet had been building some of the most iconic muscle cars on the market, including the Camaro and the Chevelle, but the company had a problem. GM had imposed a ban on engines larger than 400 cubic inches for intermediate models. That meant that Chevrolet couldn't build a mid-size car with an engine powerful enough to compete with the HEMI. But in 1970, the ban was lifted and Chevrolet went to work building the biggest, baddest engine that it could fit in the Chevelle's engine bay. The result was the LS5, a 454 cubic inch monster that was rated at 360 horsepower. But that wasn't enough for Chevrolet. The company knew that they needed to build a car that could beat the HEMI on the street and the strip. So they created the legendary LS6 engine, a version of the 454 that was packed with performance upgrades, including 4-bolt mains, forged steel crank, and forged aluminium pistons. With a Harley 4-barrel carburetor, the LS6 was rated at a whopping 450 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque back in the 70s. The Chevelle SS 454 with the LS6 was one of the most powerful muscle cars ever made. It could go from 0 to 60 in just 5.5 seconds and ran the quarter mile in the low 13s. And remember, this was way back in the 70s. Those times competed with supercars. Now, thanks to these impressive numbers, the Chevelle was the only muscle car that could consistently beat the HEMI on the street and on the strip. Unfortunately, the Chevelle would have a short life. The end of the muscle car era was already in sight. You see, by the mid-1970s, rising fuel prices and emission regulations had made it impossible for automakers to build cars with the kind of performance that the public had come to expect. The era of the muscle car was over, taking awesome cars and the war of horsepower with it. I mean, imagine what awesome cars we would have today if this never happened. Today, muscle car enthusiasts mourn the end of this era. Electric vehicles are set to take over, but they will never replace the sound and fury of a classic American V8. And there is hope for the future. With new eco-fuels on the horizon, it is possible that we'll see the return of the V8 powered muscle car. And if you don't know what I'm on about, just go through my channel. I regularly discuss other alternatives. From hydrogen to synthetic fuels, I cover it all. But until those technologies fully realize, we'll have to look back on the Chevelle SS 454 and remember the golden age of American muscle. But let me know what you think about this car. I think this is a freaking awesome car. The first time I saw it was in a Fast and the Furious movie. I think it was Fast and the Furious 4. Dom was working on a red one, and late in the movie he drove a dark grey one when he raced Paul Walker. And I thought, that's such a cool looking car. And when I started to actually look into it, I saw this thing was stupidly powerful. I mean, that amount of power, 450 horsepower, way back in the 70s. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you did like it, you like all of my other stuff. So just go through it, see if there's something else you like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers, eh?